Welcome, everyone. Today, I want to share with you a little snippet of my mastermind group. We meet once a week, and today's subject we talked about was winterizing our businesses. I explained a little bit in the video about that, but it's a good time for you to start to think about what you need to close out, what you need to tighten up, what you need to protect so that your next season will be even more fruitful. Take a listen. Guys, today I want to talk about winterizing our businesses. And let me just share with you where that's coming from. This is the time of the year where we close down our pool. And in order to do that, my husband has a whole routine. First, he's got to clean the pool, then he's got to get the chemicals, put the chemicals in the pool, make sure everything is set so that when he reopens it up in the spring, it's not a lot of work and it's ready to go. I thought about it in terms of our business. What are we cleaning up in preparation for maybe a slower season of our business? What are we adding to make sure that the business doesn't fall apart or become unusable or not very useful in the spring? And when we're in the spring, that's the time when we really feel energized to start new projects. During this time of the year, you can often feel a little bit like, it's kind of slowing down, and maybe you could feel a little deflated, like, maybe things aren't going well, but it's just the winter season. It's just that fourth quarter malaise that sometimes we feel. We hang in there for that spring. And when spring comes, if you haven't taken the right steps to winterize, it could feel even harder to get things up and running. So with that as a concept and a metaphor, I'm going to ask each of you, what do you think you're doing in terms of those three things? Maybe cleaning up, maybe adding something that'll make it easier for you to kind of jumpstart into the spring. Anybody wants to share?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think what I'm doing is I am trying to clear out the clutter, put away a lot of the things that have been weighing on my mind, and really just focus on my signature offering, finding my next client. Um, Not going to think about scaling right now. And sometimes, like those shower thoughts, maybe if I'm not thinking about it as much, I'll have some clever ideas, but just kind of moving aside the clutter, putting it away, trying to remember where I put it for next spring, and moving forward with more focus. That's my version of winterizing.
Oh, wow. I love that you added about trying to make sure that I could remember. I think of all the squirrels who hide the nuts and then they can't figure out where they are.
For sure.
Very good. I like that. I like that. How about you, Monique?
It's interesting that we're having this conversation because I started thinking about nature, and in terms of nature has its season. So now it's that period where it goes and there's this rest period. And for myself, I use the summer as a rest period. And so now I feel that because I had some time to um, move away, distance myself from the business, I feel like now I can come back to it with I would say a clear lens,
Okay.
uh, which which has allowed me to then say, okay, by the end of December, where do I want to be? So if we're talking about cleaning, is just looking at what I had set for myself at the start of the year, and what is it, maybe pick one or two things and say, okay, let's commit to this for the next 3, 4, 6 months, but just two things. So that's kind of like the winter part. And then in terms of adding, I would say tightening the things that I've left a bit in limbo, like the website and I would say more the website. The book is done, and that's on the burner at the moment. But I think it's just tightening those ends that need to be tightened. So then
Mhm.
that way we can say, okay, let's move forward with this, having had cleaned up or tightened what it is that I need to get done. So I'm looking at winter of my business as an opportunity to sit in silence a bit more and not overwhelmed myself with many things, and then focusing on one or two things that I can move forward with, so then that way I can move on to the next thing. So that's how I'm looking at my winter moments with my business.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And you're so right, the connection to the seasons, right? And I think we'll probably tackle the same question when we get to spring, because that's usually the time where we're like the newness of the year. We want to see what we're going to accomplish during this year. Part of that winterizing also is, I think, that part of reflecting and saying, okay, so what do we have to tighten up? What do we have to kind of, for you, Dave, okay, what kind of things are left undone that probably you need to put a little cap on it, close that out or prepare it so that it could be operationalized in the coming year. So it's just a way of looking at our businesses in that kind of seasonal format, because we do know our businesses do take seasons, and the seasons don't always look the same for everybody. For some people, the winter is the busiest part of their business. For
Right.
us, or at least for me, I'll speak for myself. This is the time where I reflect on what my New Year's resolution was and how far have I come, what's left to be done before the end of the year. So I could say, check, I did do it this year. Or, what else needs to be done, and then just closing it up, not shutting it down, but just kind of giving it a little place to rest so that
Yeah.
spring we could come back renewed and rejuvenated. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on winterizing your business.
You're
Thanks.
welcome.
You're welcome.